When I started talking about cosmic weather, people were like, what are you talking about? That's a little weird. And I would say, because I'm intuitive, I'm, if you will, some people say highly sensitive person or intuitive empath, or I say, I can feel and understand frequencies. And so with that, as things have just been shifting, I could tell when there would be solar flares coming in, or just different cosmic weather activity that was coming into Earth. And I know it sounded really like, otherworldly and weird to some people. But I share that because I think it's really important to, even though if you're perceiving something and you're connecting into understanding something that there might not be information or data or science thereon per se, it doesn't mean that in your own reality that it isn't actually your truth, because you might be a way shower, somebody who is, bringing more consciousness forward on something, that you are more highly, attuned and intuned in a way that hasn't really come forward for the entire masses yet. And what I love now, and I do appreciate about social media, is that there are more and more people talking about it, more and more people talking about how they also can feel the solar flares coming in or the cosmic weather per se, and how that feels in the human system, if you will. And so yesterday, I just want to have a moment just really acknowledging yesterday with the new moon in Aries and the total solar eclipse. It was just, I hope that you were able to, if you weren't able to see it in person, that hopefully you could see some of the videos going around. And it just not only was an incredible, spectacular, like celestial show, but it was just so awe-inspiring, just the connectedness of everything, where we're just so connected in ways that we don't even know. And that to me is so curious and interesting. And I just look forward to, learning more and more and understanding not only just the human component, but also just more so about the science of it, and about just more about the universe. And that's why for me, I was listening to the science yesterday from NASA as they were showing the different total solar eclipses all around for the path of totality. And I was not on the path of totality. I was on a partial, but even in the partial, y'all, it was amazing. It was so cool to see. And yeah, it was really cool to see. And what was interesting about being in a partial solar eclipse was, as you were walking around, the sun is shining, yet you wouldn't even known that it was actually happening unless you actually had eclipse glasses. And then when you put on the eclipse glasses, it was like, oh my God, there's the moon partially over the sun. And it was so cool to see. And I was really like geeking out on really getting nerdy on it, and just so cool. And in fact, I went and watched it with one of my friends. And then as I walked home, there was various businesses that my dog likes to go in and say hello, so that way she can receive a treat. And I asked them if they have seen it, and they hadn't. And I shared my eclipse glasses with them so they could all, the various businesses could see it as well. And it was just really cool to see everybody's so excited about it. And then when I came home, we have this incredible area in my community that there's this deck, rooftop deck, and I texted the neighbors, hey, have you guys seen it? And all the neighbors came up, and we were sharing the solar eclipse glasses that I got so everybody could see it. And again, it was just like the excitement of, not only being in community, but sharing this just awesome experience and the wonder of it, especially because, the total solar eclipse, obviously once it's in totality, like it becomes dark. But with the partial, I mean, you wouldn't even known that it was happening unless you looked through the solar eclipse glasses. And so when each person put them on, they were like, oh my God, because you could see the moon in front of, partially in front of the sun. And it just was so awesome and just so, so wonderful. But with that though, because it is strong cosmic energies coming in, there could be some symptoms that I just want to talk about. It's bringing in, if you listen to the energy update that I did on my podcast, it's all about transformation this month, and the total solar eclipse is bringing in with the new moon transformation. What that means then, there could be clearing of dense energies happening. And sometimes when dense energy is happening, there can be a few things that are going on. One, you can feel all of a sudden extremely tired, like what is happening? And that's because there could be a clearing happening, where in the clearing, it's not just like mental, just thought patterns that are being cleared, but it also could be different emotions that may have been stagnant or repressed or oppressed. And so now the stagnancy is being cleared. So this new energy is then streaming through, kind of clearing the entire path. This life force energy is clearing the path. And so then the old energy is being cleared out to be transformed and transmuted. And so what can happen is that, like, all of a sudden, the human can feel like, wow, I feel really tired, but it's not like normal tired. It's almost like a detoxing tired. But you might be called to go to sleep, so that way you're not in the thought process. You're not in the monkey mind about it. So if you're being called to rest, let yourself rest to clear and then integrate the new energies. Also, that being said, you could also feel really wired, like, I'm awake. Oh my God, I'm awake. And you could find yourself awake at like 2 a.m, like, I'm awake. I feel so, so awake. What is happening? And again, it's these, it's sort of like these awakening energies are coming in. And so the human then has to take time, the body, the system, it takes time to integrate these energies into the physical form. And so it could happen instantly, but it also could happen over the process of like 21 days. So you have to give the process time as you're moving through this. And I definitely recommend doing meditation and energy healing work, because that can support that can support you in terms of your shifting in it with more ease and grace. But that being said, though, you could have moments where you're all of a sudden things that are being called to clear, like things that may have happened in the past, because we're also being called to let go of our past stories. Not that we're letting go of the remembrance of things, but it's really allowing yourself to complete the aspects of, if there was a situation that really wounded you, is there a defense mechanism that is blocking the wound that isn't allowing you to really heal? So it's being called to allow ourselves to complete the process of these storylines, so you can truly shift into the present and progress into the future. And we're being called to really let go of, be complete, if you will, with one volume of our life and move into the next volume. And it's not even chapters, it's volumes. Move into the next volume. So that way you really can have a real transformation. And with it, you're bringing in the wisdom of that volume into the next volume. It's not like you're forsaking it or not remembering. You're bringing in the wisdom, and that's part of the healing. So if you're finding yourself all of a sudden, like really, like I've heard from several people, and I've experienced it too in the last couple of weeks, all of a sudden just tears have come up and just sadness, a wave of sadness. And then, I'm crying, and then I'm seeing memories from this, this present, past lives, and also just things from ancestry or the collective that is like in the process of clearing. And so you might be seeing fragments, but it's not to hold on to it. It's just to let yourself you're essentially allowing the blessing of it, the wisdom to be downloaded. So that way you can actually shift and let go from the clutches of the past to allow yourself to move into this present, into the future. Because otherwise what happens is we can get stuck in reliving the past, and it may not allow you to progress. So 2 of the themes this month are resolution and progression. And so with that, then that's where, tears may be coming in, because you're in the process of, moving into the loss and grief, downloading the wisdom, allowing yourself then to be in resolution to get into, progression, because it's all about letting yourself evolve and progress. And so with the total solar eclipse and the new moon, it could be bringing up various things. So make sure to be kind to yourself, and also not just rushing the process, because I think sometimes people really get caught in wanting to rush the process or get up like, it was the same as yesterday. Today's not the same as yesterday. We just had a major cosmic event. And so, that's where also then employing tools and using them to make sure to use those tools. So with that, then let me do the energy update. So just talk about yesterday, April 8th, was the new moon in Aries, accompanied by the total solar eclipse. And the new moon is ushering the possibilities of change, offering an exciting shift, and perhaps pointing you towards a fresh path, especially for those who navigated disruptions, experienced a loss, It's all about embracing change and being offered an unforeseen window of opportunity. This could mean the opening of a once non-existent doors and emergence of innovative problem solving. The eclipse's essence is rooted in the energy of the future, encapsulating our theme perfectly: to leap towards the future rather than remaining imprisoned in the past. For individuals resistant to change, or for those holding on tightly to outdated intentions, this period might pose difficulties. Your secret to success, my friends, in terms of navigation through maintaining, is awareness of present, avoiding judgment, blame, or disappointments. Take this time as an opportunity to rejuvenate your intentions, injecting them with a fresh energy and passion. Furthermore, this period offers a unique access point and encourages transforming the healing from past wounds into your foundation for power and wisdom, friends. So that is the energy that's playing out from you might have been feeling it for the last week or so, but definitely from yesterday onward. And now for April 9th through the 16th for the energy update, we are emerging, my friends, from the profound wave of the recent eclipse. So we are likely to witness compelling developments, eye-opening discoveries, and a more clearly defined road ahead. Giving prominence to our forward vision is crucial, coupled with reorganizing and recognizing the aspects of our life that are primed for this transformative shift. So with this then, my friends, remember, you aren't required to force or grapple to determine your next move. You don't want to get into grasping or trying to, let me figure it out, grapple with it. It's not about that. It's about allowing yourself to unfold. So it will become evident, perhaps even cropping up in surprising ways. Keep your senses alert for fresh sparks of inspiration and the chance to approach things from a new angle. So it's a really it's a really amazing transformative period. Also, and also it's allowing us the energy to support us in a beneficial way to confront and to process fear. Also to contemplate doubt, to let yourself release it so you can go into progression, and to recognize anxiety in terms of if there's any kind of anxiety patterns and programs that are ready for completion or that are really being born out of excessive overthinking. And so that's where, if you don't have a meditation practice, I really encourage just seeking out some meditation practice that works for you. And just remember, it's a practice. That it's not like when people sometimes say like, oh, you're a meditation teacher, you must love meditation. I love what meditation does for me as a human. It is not like, wow, I'm going to go meditate. Sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I got to meditate. That's the human experience. But I do know it's kind of like exercising. Sometimes you're like, yay, I'm going to exercise. Sometimes you're like, oh. But then halfway through it, you're like, oh, this felt great. And I feel a shift. And I'm glad I went and did it. That's what meditation does for me, because it really helps you in terms of your mental, emotional, and your physical bodies. So if you are interested in meditation, my podcast, The Inspiring You Show, which link is in the link tree, if you're listening on social media. If you are on YouTube, you can head to the notes section. I will add the link there. There are a ton of meditations, So feel free to check it out. And there's just a lot of great free resources. There's also a paid podcast too, if you're interested. And I also have a Patreon. There's different levels if you want live classes with recordings. Okay, so with that then, using tools to support you in the shifting and understanding that all of this really springs from an inner awareness that is connected to your real light truth, not a textbook of predefined concepts. So listen to your intuition, strive to remain driven and inspired, and keep your gaze fixed on the future during this phase. And as things are coming up, let yourself process the emotions, process the thoughts, download the wisdom, letting things come to a completion so that way you can have the transformative shift that is being called and that's available to you, my friends. With that, much love, my friends. And just remember, be kind to yourself. This is a really interesting time, and drink lots of water to keep yourself hydrated and to allow yourself to integrate these new energies. Much love, my friends. Thanks for joining me here.